waiting to start this meeting until we have a quorum, so just hold tight for a little bit and we'll start when we can. Thanks. Welcome to the Salt Lake City Planning Commission meeting on April 9th, 2025. I would like you to note the public meeting rules, which are posted at the entrance to this room or in Section D of the Planning Commission Policies and Procedures. If you've made a comment on one of our items for this evening and submitted it to a planner or to your community organization, we have received that. If you want to make a comment this evening, fill out a comment card available at the door, or send an email to planning.commission@slc.gov. The first item on our agenda tonight is a report of the chair. We're seeking new planning commissioners for Salt Lake City from districts 4 and 5. So if you live in one of those two Salt Lake City districts and you're interested in joining the Planning Commission, please apply. You can search for SLC Planning Commission and find a tab at the bottom of the page that says Becoming a Commissioner, and you can apply there. And it outlines the procedures and process. So thank you for considering that. The vice chair is not here this evening. Next is the report of the planning director.
Just wanted to mention that on tonight's agenda, there are 3 time extensions for prior projects that were approved. And we wanted to mention that we'll probably be seeing more of those as we go forward because financing is hard to get and projects have slowed down quite a bit. So just want to alert you to that. We'll be seeing probably some more extensions, a slowdown in building and projects for a while. So that's it.
Thank you. Are projects limited to one 12-month extension?
Not expressly. They could come back multiple times. There is no limit in the ordinance as to how many times they could request that.
Okay. Thank you. Now it's time for open forum, where commissioners can discuss planning, zoning, and general land use items that are not listed on the agenda. Does anyone have something to discuss tonight?
I just have a quick comment related to those time extensions. If we could, as we get them, with the expectation that they'll increase, that we're alerted in the little paragraph explaining, like, if this is our first, second, or third request, because I personally would evaluate them a little differently based on that, and that would be really helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is the consent agenda, and these are matters which we anticipate will require limited discussion. As mentioned, we have 3 extension requests on the agenda for 1330 South, 700 West, one for Riverside Plan Development at 552 North, 1500 West, and one for Hoyt Place Phase 2 Plan Development at approximately 843 West, Hoyt Place. In addition to those 3 time requests, we also are considering the approval of the meeting minutes for March 12th and March 26th. Those items don't have a public hearing. One of our consent agenda items does have a public hearing, and it's the plan development and preliminary plat for Golds Townhomes at approximately 135 West Golds Avenue. So this evening, we can approve all of the items on the consent agenda, or we can move some of them off the consent agenda. I'm going to open the public hearing for that plan development and preliminary plat on Golds Avenue. If anyone would like to speak on that item, you can approach the podium and tell us what you want us to hear. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion from the commission.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner
Second it.
Richardson.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Barry has given us a second to that motion. We'll vote now on the consent agenda. Commissioner Leverett,
Yes.
Commissioner Barry,
Yes.
Commissioner Christensen,
Yes.
Commissioner Shear,
Yes.
and I also vote yes on the consent agenda. So all those items pass unanimously. Thank you. Now we're on the regular agenda. This is a rezone for Mary Cruz at approximately 247 North, 800 West. I'm going to ask the staff to introduce themselves and tell us about this application.
My name's Seth Rios. I worked on the Mary Cruz rezone with Barlow, who's a senior planner, and is kind of helping on the petition as well. So is it on now? Okay. Okay. So the request for this rezone is a request to change from R1 7000 single-family residential to R1 5000 and to expand a portion of the back lot that's already SR3, and they want to expand it a little bit towards the street. So staff is recommending that the Planning Commission forward a positive recommendation to the City Council. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So this property is located in the Fair Park neighborhood, and it has a lot of different zones that are in the immediate area. As I mentioned, the owner owns these 2 properties that are highlighted in yellow. The one along 800 West is R1 7000 single-family residential, and the one that's on the interior of the block off of Hoyt Place is SR3 special development residential. In the surrounding area, on the block you have R1 7000, R1 5000, across the street is R1 5000. To the south is a lot of TSA zoning along North Temple, and to the north is more residential land uses. So the applicant is proposing to extend the SR3 portion of the zone closer to 800 West, and it's the portion of the map that's highlighted in red. So it would extend a little bit to the east under this proposal. And the front portion that is currently R1 7000 would be changed to R1 5000 under this proposal. So this is a photo of the front of the property that's currently R1 7000. It's a single-family home where the property owner lives. As you can see, it has a small front yard and small side yards as well. Just to expand on that a little bit, the south side yard is used as the driveway to access the parking area. And on the north side, it's, a couple of feet between the wall and the fence. This is the back of the property as seen from White Place looking towards the backyard. So this is the portion that's already zoned SR3. The property extends further back past that tree line. There's a backyard behind the house as well. So this is a photo of the neighborhood. You could see the subject property is at the end. So this is looking from the north, looking towards the south. These homes are mostly smaller homes on small lots with front yards that are close to the public right-of-way. And this is a view looking the other direction, so from the south looking to the north. So you see lots of residential uses in the surrounding area. This is the context from Hoyt Place, so I don't believe anything has been developed there yet. It still looks like this, just a lot of empty space on Hoyt Place right now. And directly to the south is an 8-unit apartment building, and the neighbor to the north is a duplex, just to give a little bit of context about this neighborhood and the surrounding area. So I want to walk through some of the similarities of all the zones that are proposed, and then I'll go through what would be changing under the rezone proposal. So first, all three of these zones have certain things that are identical or similar. The maximum building height is capped at 28 feet. That's the same for flat roofs. They have the same height of 20 feet. Wall height is also the same under these three zones. The front yard setback is the same as well, and the parking contexts are the same. So if the property in the front were rezoned from R17 to R15, it would still be the general context parking, and the back is already SR3, which is residential parking
Urban
context. Yeah, neighborhood that would have a little bit less parking requirements. So with some of the differences, R1 5000, R1 7000, they only allow the same housing type, which is single family dwellings that are detached. SR3 allows a few more housing types, including 2-family dwellings, which is basically just a duplex, 2 units on the same lot. Twin home dwellings it's basically a duplex where the wall divides the property lines. Attached single-family dwelling is what we would know as a townhome, and detached single-family dwellings, which is the same as single-family zones. So it allows additional housing types. The purpose of the SR3 zone is to allow for infill development, and that is done, infill development is done in the SR3 zone through reduced zoning standards. So the side and rear yard setbacks are a little bit smaller. Lot widths are smaller depending on the housing type, and the minimum lot size is also smaller as well. So those reduced standards allow for infill development on the interior portions of blocks. So as with any proposal, we look to what the general plan and the neighborhood plan says about the proposal. Plan Salt Lake and Housing SOC are citywide plans that both address the need for more housing in the city. There's often a mention for infill development just because Salt Lake City is pretty much built out up to this point. Both plans mention the need for missing middle housing and neighborhood compatibility, so not just doing any type of increase in density or housing. It needs to be compatible with the surrounding area. The North Temple Boulevard plan specifically uses this block as an example of areas where infill development would be appropriate. The screenshot on the screen is taken directly from that plan, and it highlights areas where it deems infill development would be appropriate. So another thing that we look at with rezones is a community benefit. That's a requirement now. In exchange for allowing a rezone, applicant has to provide some type of benefit to the community that's listed in the city code. The applicant has chosen to provide community benefit A, which reads, that the applicant would need to provide housing to align with the current or future needs of the community as determined by the general plan. So staff believes that the applicant does meet this community benefit with the conditions that are listed in the staff report. That being that they would need to provide 50% of the units that would be built in any future development would need to be family-sized, which Housing SLC has determined is 3 bedrooms or larger. And that's to ensure that the community benefit is provided to the neighborhood if a rezone were approved. So for these reasons, staff is recommending approval of the rezone request. Things are outlined in the staff report that the proposal does meet the zoning amendment standards, including meeting the community benefit, and fulfills the intent of the adopted general plans and policies. And we have included a condition that we believe will help make sure that this proposal meets the community benefit. So that's all I have. I could take any questions about the proposal.
If the applicant wants to make a presentation, let's have that now.
My name is Maricruz Lora.
Can you speak right into the mic and tell us your name? You have 10 minutes if you need it.
Okay, my name is Maricruz Lora, Maricruz Siriberri Loire, excuse me. And I'm right here because I'm a little concerned too about the HOA. Can I talk about that?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
okay?
you can talk about whatever you want. You have 10 minutes.
I write it on everything, that way I don't have to forget anything.
Okay.
So I give you guys, thank you for reviewing my property for a zone change. I have live in my house for around 25 years, and I raised my 6 children. I have wanted to build my new house for many years, and over the years I have gone to the city asking how I can develop the property behind my house. I was told I have to wait until a private road and utilities were installed. The road and utilities are now installed. So you might not know, but some of my property is in the roadway, so we can extend the road and alley to my property. So I have worked with Hoyt Place, and I am so really excited to get this zone change, and will soon submit my planned develop application. So I am a member of the Hot Place design team, and I look forward to seeing new homes, families, and neighborhood and neighbors. I understand that I will be a part of the Hot Place HOA. I am very concerned about HOA abuse, and I have been in news stories about abusive HOA boards and management companies. So here in Salt Lake, one involved by a disabled man. I have a disabled son, and I have worked too hard to be catch up on HOA disputes. I have asked God to speak further to that.
Good. Make sure your mic's on and
There
tell
you
us
go.
your name.
Thanks. Well, my name's Gaud Maragani, and I had previously purchased, there was a little brick house that was part of the overall Hoyt Place development site plan, but a corner of it collapsed, and so the house had to be demolished. That property will be part of Phase 3 that we just recently submitted for Planning Commission approval. So I'm a member of the Hoyt Place Design Panel. The other members are Mary Cruz, Kip Myers, who I think you saw earlier this evening, and then Eddie Del Rio, another landowner at Hoyt Place. And I just want to, can I hand you guys a copy of the overall site plan for Hoyt Place?
Sure.
I have it here. And this is from 2018.
Excuse me, but is this part of the actual development? No, it's not. So we need to stay on the subject of the property at hand that's being requested for a rezone. and not Hoyt Place HOA or a different property.
Okay.
Relevant to this application, the planning commission cannot make any decisions relative to those other properties, an HOA, or matters outside the scope of this rezoned application.
But the thing is, because everything is connected.
Yeah, that's what we thought this is only, we're not asking for approval of anything else. We think
I'm
it's-
sorry, I need everybody to speak into a microphone for the record.
So everything is connected.
I don't know who this talking.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood what we were discussing. I'm sorry. The property that's been requested for rezoning backs up on Hoyt Place, but I want to clarify with our attorney, and I'm going to take her advice, is the discussion that's happening right now topical to what we're considering this evening?
Sorry, that was off. It is not. These are other properties related to other matters. I understand from a development proposal, they are, in your view, connected, but it is not a matter for, it is not relevant to the Planning Commission's decision or what they can consider as part of whether or not to grant this rezone request.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. So if you want to speak on something that Mr. Rios presented, then we'd like to hear about that, if you have something to speak on that zoning request.
And no, I'm just, I was gonna give a thank you guys for review my zoning.
Okay? Thank you.
And then I'll just add that the other members of that design committee also support her rezone request as well. So we thank you for considering it today.
Thank you. Do commissioners have any clarifying questions at this time? It's not time to discuss the merits of this request, just if you have any clarifying questions. Okay. The applicant can go back to your seat. Thank you. Now it's time for the public hearing. So if you want to speak on the rezone request for the property at 247 North, 800 West, which is the item that Mr. Rios presented to us, you can approach I have a card. Mr. McMullen, if you'd like to speak. And then anyone who'd like to speak after him can approach the podium, and you'll have 2 minutes. Yeah.
My name's Paul McMullen. My family owns the lot just to the east of this redevelopment. I don't have a problem with the rezoning. I do have a problem with an email I received from Doug Bateman when I was working through a fire turnaround easement. The emails from someone named Kip, Good, Maricruz, and Eddie are the review board of Hoyt Place. There's 3 other properties on Hoyt Place. At the end of the email, it says, please note, we have not granted access to the Hoyt Place Road or utilities to any party outside of Hoyt Place. When I look at every legal description of each lot on Hoyt Place, they have an easement that predated any of the shenanigans that have been going on the road. So from my point of view as a property owner, and I know 2 others who have issue with this, is a random group of property owners is trying to act in a jurisdictional manner to control access to the properties. I have a legal right to access that road. So does every other property owner there. The other issue, if you look at Chrissy Beidle's notes from Public Utilities, she makes it very clear that those are publicly owned utilities, not privately owned. I've paid reimbursement fees to the city to tie into those. The developer that was contracted with the city to put those in defaulted. He never completed the work and is in breach of contract. So I just want to put that out there. I probably have 2 minutes, and I'm not a big talker.
Thank you. I failed to ask if someone from a recognized community organization wants to speak, but really anybody who wants to talk on this topic can go to the podium. You're welcome to. Please state your name and.
Kip Myers, and I came here because for the extension, we're doing the same project that was before.
So we didn't have a public hearing about the extension because we don't have public hearings on those.
Oh, okay. And as to the utilities, they're private. I own those. They're in my name, in Hoyt Place. It's in Hoyt Place name. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? Any emails? Okay, thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing on this item. The things that were topical to this zoning request that I want to summarize from the public hearing were that the Hoyt Design Group is in favor, and the neighbor immediately north is in favor of the rezone. The actions that we can take tonight, this is a legislative item, so we can give a positive recommendation to the Salt Lake City Council in favor of this rezone, a negative recommendation to the City Council, or continue this item to a date certain with or without continuation of the public hearing. So now it's time for a Planning Commission discussion and vote.
So we are just voting on the zoning change, correct? And whatever they might do in the future around an HOA is going to be done through their, whatever documents they have to file around that. So that has nothing to do with us, correct?
That's correct. Unless they submit a plan development with a subdivision, you may touch on it briefly, but ultimately.
But they didn't do that, so.
No.
Okay. So, and also in terms of utilities and so forth, that no one will be able to build anything without letters from the utilities that, as part of their building permit, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So that's, not, again, not something we're involved in. So I'm going, let's see if I can find the motion. Okay. Sorry. That's not the right motion. Damn it.
Can I give you this?
I got it. Okay, I got it. Is it okay if I do a motion, folks? Okay. Based on the information presented in discussion, I move the commission forward a recommendation of approval of this zoning map amendment application to the City Council with the following conditions. At least half of any new units must be family-sized, meaning that the units have at least 3 bedrooms. If the existing house is demolished, demolished unit replacement standards found in 21A.50.05 EOE shall apply to the property.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Commissioner Scheer and a second from Commissioner Christensen. Any discussion to the motion? Okay, we'll vote now. Commissioner Christensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Leverett?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry?
Yes.
Commissioner Scheer?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So we will forward a positive recommendation on this to the City Council, and they'll have another hearing, and they have their own process going forward. So thank you. Is that it? Okay, that is the end of our agenda for this evening. I'm going to adjourn the Salt Lake City Planning Commission for 2 weeks. Thank you.
Wow. Good job, Amy.
furniture with us, and we held an auction, which was a howling success. People paid real money for the junk, and we went back to Chicago first class.
Who'd you get it from? Here, hurry before somebody sees. Okay, here, take one.